Did we do it? Are we live? About to find out. If we're live, my phone will start exploding. If we're not, it won't. How you guys doing? If you're there, we'll see in a sec. One sec. Just us usually. I know, Melissa. I know I'm late. Just the usual. Just, technical difficulties. Just like such is life, at least my life. I'll give you a minute. I'm sorry I'm late. I was ready. I've been ready for quite a while. The internet was not. So, no, Melissa, I'm very angry because I feel like you're completely serious and it makes me so mad. I know you're joking. You're good. Stream's still not showing up for me on YouTube. I must not watch enough YouTube or I must not watch enough Eyeland on my iPad because I feel like I should be the first thing at the top. There I am. How do we feel about that thumbnail? How do we feel about that, chat? Does it look like terrible quality to you guys? It'll probably resolve over time. Miranda, are you saying you love that thumbnail? Isn't that so good? Put like every ounce of effort that I have into that. What up, Scott? Scott is Gerald, by the way, if you're curious who I'm talking to in the chat. The one that says Gerald is not Gerald. He's a liar. He's Scott. All right. I'm going to give hi, babe. Does that mean Mana and Ezra are watching? Hi, guys. I miss you. How you doing? Mana Joy, I love you. I hope you're being a good listener. Azariah, I love you. I'm sure you're not being a good listener. All right, I'm going to give 2 more minutes and then we're going to get started. Also, I'll throw it in the chat as well. I believe I put it in the description of the video. Somebody tell me in the chat if that's accurate, but I'll throw it in the chat right now too. I'll throw a link to the script I'm actually that we're going to be writing. So in theory, this link should take you to the episode 3 actual script. I couldn't figure out because I obviously have an account because I use this software all the time, but you should be able to make a free account. So if you're interested in actually being able, it's a read-only version of the script, so you can't screw it up. I love you guys. I just don't trust you that much, if I'm completely honest, to give you the only version I have of the script. But if you're really interested in following along, I am going to be able to guys, look at this technology. I am going to be able to throw the actual script as in the spots where I'm writing, we'll be able to follow along, but I'm not going to go through. We're going to start at page, what is this? 19. So I'm not going to go read 18 pages of script to you right now. I feel like that's excessive. So if you want to read the rest of it, we will do a debrief and we'll walk through the script and go through sort of at this point what I have written for this episode so that we can sort of be on the same page. But if you want to really read and you want to have the deep details and see exactly what I'm doing, you can follow that link in the chat. I just threw it in the chat. If you follow that link, it should take you to a page where you can see the real words. The words. All right. I had big plans. I was going to stream to Instagram. I was going to stream to TikTok. We were going to just conquer the world tonight. Rural internet is also a thing. So here we are. Okay. We good? Can't watch the whole thing. Circle night. You're good. You're good, Scott. I'm glad you're here at all. It's good to see your name in the chat. All right. We're going to get going because I only have so much time and I need to. They say hi, Dada. I miss you guys. Hi, buds. We need to actually write. So let's do it. Let's pray. Jesus, we love you. Thank you for the privilege of doing this. Help us. Amen. It's funny because all day I kept thinking about, doing this. And when it's just like a live stream, it's like you can sort of like even if you're dead, like even if you're tired, like even if you don't have it in you, you can still sort of muster just like being a human person on camera for a bit. But when I suddenly realized when I hit that like 3 o'clock slump and started getting tired that I was just like going online to just like try to like entertain people for a minute, I have to actually write. And so we're gonna see what's actually in the old. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what's in us right now. I'm not entirely sure what I have in me, but we're gonna find out. So if you are just joining us, then we're gonna be writing together. We're on episode 3 of a series that we're working on. Did you finish it yet, Matt? Why are you the way that you are? I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm assuming you're being sarcastic and kind of a jerk. Sorry, my kids are watching. So why don't you SHUTUP? We're gonna get into it. If you want that script in front of you, cool. If not, like I said, I have cool technology that I'm stoked about. Although, is it super low quality for you guys? Like, could you read that script? Like, is it a high enough quality that you can actually read that when I go to it, or is it a total waste of our time because this is terrible trash quality? Can somebody actually tell me that in the chat? Melissa, are you saying no, you cannot read it? Perfect. This is gonna be perfect. Guys, I'm sorry. Ethan, if you're listening, do whatever you can to get people off the internet. I don't know. Do whatever you can. Maybe it'll clear up as time goes on. It's pretty low quality for me at times. Yeah. It's kind of doing the same thing for me where it's like clearing up randomly. Okay, so we're gonna just like talk through the story for a second. Maybe the internet's gonna resolve itself, fix all of our problems spontaneously. You'll get that joke in a minute because it's actually a line we wrote earlier today. So if you're coming in like completely cold, like if you've watched none of these videos, quick catch up. We're writing a 6-part limited series, Christmas show, looking to deliver it next year, so end of 2025. I am right now in the set. This is cool, guys. We're actually live streaming from Liam's bedroom, from the main character's like bedroom set that we built, which means we have a set done months in advance, which is just so not like us. It's amazing. But basically this young, like this teenage boy, the day his mother dies, finds a time machine. So he discovers a time machine the day his mom dies. Then mom passes, and from the moment she passes, he stops speaking. Like he just stops talking, meaning he doesn't talk to anybody anymore. He just sort of becomes really isolated. The end of episode 1, he ends up getting the time machine working again, and someone comes through. That's what I'd say the vast majority of people know if you've followed this series in like the slightest. Most people probably know that. Well, hello, Captain Bug. It's so funny because like, who's Captain Bug? Who are you? Everybody has these names that like I have no idea who they are. Well, not everybody. Honestly, it's just you, Captain Bug. It's just you. What up, AJ? Glad you're here, man. All right. So if you've followed this series like in any way, then what you might know is there's this teenage kid. He's he discovers a time machine on the day his mom dies. That's sort of the tagline, the log line. Um, episode 2 is the person he brings through at the end of episode 1, you discover at the beginning of episode 2, is his dad. You find out real quick that he hates his dad. You don't find out until the end of episode 2 that it is his dad, but you know right away in episode 1 that it's not his mom, which is who he was trying to bring through. The only person he wants to see in life at this point is his mom. It fails. Someone else comes through. That's all you know. they sort of like lock this guy in a time machine I think in another dimension, and then just like abandon him. Go try to figure out a game plan, and then they go to come back. When they come back, bring him out, and then they have this conversation where at the end of episode 2, you find out that it's his dad. So that's where we're picking up in episode 3. So I think that's like the necessary details. I'm sure a lot more will sort of come out as we start writing. But I think the necessary details for you to know coming in episode 3, there's this kid finds a time machine. He had to fix it. He goes about the process of fixing it. He's trying to bring back his mom. He doesn't. It fails. It works. It just doesn't bring back his mom. He ends up with now his dad in the picture, and he hates his dad because his whole life, in a very real sense, his dad has not been in the picture. So, um, sorry, I'm gonna push a button. If I lose you guys, I'll be back in 2 seconds, but I'm curious if this button is the reason why the stream is low quality, so let me try it. Are you still there? Did it fix the problem? I'm gonna give that a sec. But we're still online. We're still live. Okay. So we'll see if that actually helped. So we're coming into episode 3. And the way we'll do this is we can go, guys, technology, you ready? I'm excited about this. Let me just start there. I'm excited about this. Okay. Welcome to Right Club. Welcome to Right Club. Club. Welcome to Right Club. There's only one rule about Right Club, and that is we talk about Right Club. You see what I did there? Did you like that? But I'm excited about this. So I understand these are going to be small streams. I can't imagine that many people that it sounds super interesting to like sit and watch some guy write. And I also understand because I'm streaming the same thing you're streaming. I understand you can't read this right now. Hopefully it's going to clear up in a little bit. But I'm going to read it to you and I'll just talk you through the story beats sort of as we go and as it develops. So we start out. Yeah, let's go right here. Also, I'm sorry I have to break eye contact. I love you guys. I would love to look directly into this lens so that you feel just me staring through your soul at all times. But when I'm looking up here, it's because there's a TV here where I can see the script. So in the off chance that rural internet comes through and decides to clear up, I'm reading what you're reading. So we're going to go right at the top of 3. Here's the vision. This is what I'm like sort of thinking and excited about. Episode 2 ends with like, I'm your son. You know, like I think that's literally like one of the last things that Liam says. I think it's like he says, I'm your son, and it kind of like they all have, you know, like Mana, who doesn't know that, Ezra, his dad. So Mana's like the best friend. Ezra, his dad, are both sort of shocked because neither one of them know that, because Ezra came through a time machine, so he wouldn't know that. He doesn't know that he's a father yet, because to him in that timeline, he's not a father yet. So we start out episode 3, and I kind of want to start out like in a not like confusing way, not in the sense of like, I want you to not know what's going on for just like a half second. Okay. Like we did this in I Love Christmas Parties where like I think episode 1 starts off with like they're in the middle of a fight. Like you sort of come into it, like the whole thing starts, they're in the middle of a fight, and the end of it is Trevor's like, look in this, there's a box, look in this box. You don't know what's in the box, but it's like something's here that draws all their attention. And then we cut away to like the actual start of the story rather than like where we started in sort of the middle of the story. So I want to do that this episode, I think. This is my thought. Oh, it looks like it's clear enough for you to actually see what's going on, eh? My thought is we start this episode halfway through this, the actual episode, meaning halfway through this episode, which is where we're going to actually start writing tonight, is when they end up in this bunker. But I actually want to start this episode in the bunker. So it's chaos, and you know that they're trapped somewhere. Like that's where we start. So it's like the last thing you saw was this guy was he just found out that this is his son. The kid clearly knew this and was concealing this from his dad. because he's kind of a turd nugget. So the next thing we come into is like chaos. They're banging on the doors. I have a really specific song in my head. It's been really funny on this project because I've been like writing a lot of music as we go, which I normally do at all. I've been writing and sort of like building a playlist for a score. Um, where like I feel like normally when we do it the totally wrong way. This is probably the right way to do it, but normally it's a bit more like, all right, this edit's done. Man, what do we do for music? This one I'm excited because I have this like super dumb song that I wrote for my kids that like literally one day we were sitting there on the couch eating they were eating grilled cheese and a hot dog and I had a guitar in my hand and I just started singing a song about grilled cheese and hot dogs and dinosaur and Minnie Mouse cups and I want to have Ezra sing that song to much to the annoyance of Liam later in the episode. But I also think it'd be so fun to, like, take that song and sort of use it as the motif for this episode. Like, it's sort of the theme for this episode, so it's like, later it gets to it and it's, like, very organic. It's like, what do they call it? Is it di diegetic? What's the somebody Google it, throw it in the chat. What's the word when music is actually heard by the character in the scene? Like, the the characters don't hear the score, but when a song's on the radio and that is the score for the scene, but the character can also hear what the audience is hearing, there's a word for it. Throw it in the chat. I can't remember what it is. You'll have to Google it. You probably don't know either. It's like diegetic or something like that. I want to hear this. Oh, I mean, the song is like the song is literally like we're eating grilled cheese and hot dogs for lunch, drinking out a dinosaur and Minnie Mouse cups. And it's like this intentionally annoying song from Ezra frustrating Liam. So it's I love it because it's like good comedic tension in that scene, but then also why are you sad? Oh, and then also, I wanna hear that though as like a giant like ballad, like, "We're eating grilled cheese and hot dogs for lunch," and like that's the song that's playing when they're banging on the doors of the bunker trying to get out because I think it's like I think it would be so confusing, and I think that's so funny to me for some reason to just, like, sort of have this, come out of the gate on this episode thinking that, like, right away I'm gonna get a bunch of answers to my questions because we just left this last episode with, like, "Wait, it's your dad?" But then come into, like, sheer chaos because that is sort of the actual that's what I wanna display about their relationship, right? We're gonna start this out in episode 3, they, like, do not work well together. They can't figure out how to mesh. Obviously, dad is he's not in his head actually a dad, and so he's also younger. So he hasn't gone through the things that make men mature. He hasn't gone through fatherhood in a real sense, right? It's not the guy from the present time that is in the room. It's the guy from I think it's like 18 years ago that's in the room. So he has like about the emotional intelligence and maturity to some extent of his son. And so I want as they are starting with that tension in their relationship, I want it to start developing right out of the gate visually and audially that like chaotic tension of their relationship. So that's sort of we're not going to spend that much time on every single one of these scenes, but right away if you read that and it's like super confusing, I have a vision in my head that at least makes more sense to me. Also, if there's, like, specific things I'm not gonna, like, spend a bunch of time going through, like, all of the logistics of screenwriting right this second, but if there's stuff that you're he has the emotional range of a teaspoon. If there's stuff that you're, like, realizing you don't know what it means from a screenwriting perspective, like, quick rundown, INT means interior, EXT means exterior, so, like, a scene heading will be INT or EXT, period. Scene description it'll describe the location, a name for the location at least, and then it'll describe the time of day that this is supposed to be taking place. So you'll see that everything that you see that's in like all caps with INT or EXT at the beginning of it means we're starting a new scene. Probably meaning we're also starting a new location. I can't think of a scenario where I wouldn't um, put an actual scene heading or if there's a scene heading, it also means we're changing locations 99 out of 100 times. So We start out in this bunker, which is chaos, and then we get into, um, 9 hours earlier, so we snap back to earlier in the day before this chaos started, which is Liam, Ezra, and Manna, so dad, son, best friend, sitting in, Liam's bedroom. Right here, actually, now that I think about it, sitting here. You guys want a tour? There's a ceiling, and there's, like, some windows back there, and there's a floor, and, yep, it's an attic. I'm just excited about it. I understand that most people would walk up here and be like, "Oh, yeah, it's a nice attic, but it's an attic." But, honestly, the way my team has, remodeled this is incredible. It's super exciting. So, actually give them some love in the chat. They did a really good job. They worked hard. Even our college students are, like, interns. They worked really hard. They made this happen so Liam can have somewhere to sleep. I'm gonna fix this lens. So, we go right into his bedroom, and in his bedroom so Liam's perspective is like, this scene needs some rewriting. It definitely is like, it's there-ish. I wrote another couple pages for it, I think this morning or was it yesterday? Um, it's like there-ish, but really what I want to come across is in this scene, Liam is like, "Let's get going. Let's go. We now understand that this machine requires certain resources." Like, essentially, maybe one of the last things that I wrote in that I don't think we talked about, like, on camera, the machine is working from a perspective of whoever built the machine, which the characters at this point do not necessarily know, who built whoever built the machine built in some fail safes. And this is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, this was a rewrite that, yeah, never got talked about on camera. So let me explain real quick. Um, the machine has a photo scanner. It has a scanner next to the capsule where the person arrives. So you punch in date and location and person, in essence. So you're punching in date and location, and then you're putting a picture of the person. As the machine is drawing the you know, the as it's drawing on the date and time that you punched in and trying to materialize that person in the, like, the capsule, I'm visualize it as like a giant, what do I say, like a shower, like a circular shower where, like, the door sorta rotates like this. While that person is supposed to be materializing in there, it's also scanning a photo of the intended subject. So, where we run into the, like, where the story really comes from, if the picture of his mom that he and obviously put in because he's trying to bring back his mom, if because, you know, his mom, there was a picture of her, if she was the one that materialized, everything would be fine, okay? It would be the machine would just go like, "Thank you for playing." But because it's scanning a photo of mom, but dad is the one who comes through, at the end of dad coming through, you see this like, and then a timer, you know, like basically there's all this stuff. You can go read the script or like there's other videos where we talk about it. Um, but essentially that's where we're stuck now. Is this whole story develops from this perspective of like they have they have a fail safe put in place on this machine. So the designers, the yes, Melissa, actually, I'm still able to see the chat because we're not writing yet. That's kind of potentially why I'm thinking he takes the photo when he's robbing the jewelry store. Um, that's a great idea. I think that I actually initially thought that, and I think that's why I wrote it in, but I totally forgot that. We'll say that's your idea. That was a great idea. Yes, let's say yes, because I think that's what I was initially thinking. So basically, he scans this photo, but the wrong person comes through. And from the perspective of the people who designed the machine, the failsafe is we can't have you saying, like, I kinda wanna write in, like, the rule, like, when the like, because there's, like, explanations of how the machine works that start being developed and given to the characters as they're utilizing the machine, and I kinda want it to be um, like, in my head, I saw, like, the description of the machine from the creator's perspective is they're like, "We can't have you you know, putting in a picture saying that you're bringing in your sweet old grandma, and in actuality, you bring through and then it's like a series of names that they've updated over the course of human history. It's like, we can't have you bringing through, Attila the Hun, and then that's crossed out, and then it's like Hitler, and that's crossed out, and then it's like Osama bin Laden, and like that's the most recent one that I don't know who the modern Osama bin Laden would be at this point, but basically, it's a fit like the process that the characters right now are having to walk through is a failsafe put in place by the designers of the machine to make sure that there's not dissonance between the person you say you're bringing into another timeline and the person you actually are bringing into another timeline. So to protect human history from horrible people coming through, because if I think in sort of this lore, if you put in a picture of Hitler, it's just going to say, "Eh." But if you put in a picture of your sweet grandmother and then try to bring in Hitler, because a date and time that or a date, time, and location where you could pull him from, then the machine goes no, and it gives you the benefit of the doubt at first. So when we come in episode 3, they're in this space where, like, because the machine's sort of becoming a character at this point. When we come into episode 3, they're in this space of like they're being given the benefit of the doubt by the machine that maybe there was just an unintentional discrepancy between the photo and the subject who comes through. But now you need to prove that it was not malicious. You need to prove that this was an accident by going through these series of hoops, jumping through these series of hoops. So that's where we're starting. They just got their first hoop, and their first hoop is right at the beginning of the scene. We see Mana reading out loud from the manual that they're slowly getting pieces of how they're sort of supposed to process from this book that they're being given. Liam goes, read it again. And Mana reads, to prove your swell intentions, bring an item the intended, and she says the intended is capitalized, meaning we're talking about someone specific, would have tended to quite well. So they have to now start working through this mystery, these like specific clues, riddles that they're given that are going to lead them to specific resources. Each resource that they gather, they then go load into the machine. I literally want it to be like when you go to the bank, those like sucky things, you go to the bank and you put the money in the tubes and it's like and it goes up, like when in Elf when he's like, oh, that's very sucky, and he puts his cheek to it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I want them to be like when they bring to the machine proof that like they're not trying to do crazy things, like that this was genuinely an accident and we're trying to fix it. We're working within the system. When they bring that proof, I want it to get sucked up in those cool little tubes. So this scene, Mana's trying to keep them focused sort of on like the actual task at hand. Liam is agitated that they're not more quickly getting to the resources and the tasks. Ezra is like, how do I actually know you're my son? Like that, I feel like is the most logical place for us to start with Ezra. He has to start with like, I don't buy it. So Ezra is like pushing, trying to like sort of really, he's trying to prove you're not my son. He doesn't believe. He's like, that is the least likely. And he's not, he's right. The least likely conclusion he should be making is like, oh yeah, time machine. That's the most logical conclusion I should do. So he's like, did you roofie me and like bring me here? Like, did you basically did you drug me and like force me in here? Blah blah blah. They're having this sort of conflict, and then Aunt Liv, who was Mag's sister, is Mag's sister. Mag's passed away though, which is Liam's dad. Aunt Liv, who's been trying to have a conversation with Liam all last episode, she busts in and she's like, "We need to talk." Suddenly, she sees Ezra and does not. We know now she does not like Ezra. Apparently, she's never liked Ezra. So she is also very not happy because to her, she's like, you think you can just show up in this kid's life after being gone for 18 years and like not come through me and have a conversation about it? But ultimately, that's obviously not how he got there. So to throw her off the scent and to try to get her to calm down, Liam speaks. So he speaks to her in this scene for the first time in 2 years. That's his way of like, because he knows she's going to just completely unalive Ezra at this point with her bare hands if she doesn't or if he doesn't do something, and so his fast acting plan is like, "What if I just open my mouth?" Which obviously Aunt Liv, who's his mother figure at this point, she hasn't heard him talk for 2 years, that melts her heart. It works exactly as planned. He plays on her emotions, and she falls for it, but still very much does not trust Ezra. She puts the fear of God in Ezra, and then because I think this is funny. One of the things I'm having the most fun with the writing process with Ezra is this idea that like um there's a tension where like obviously he doesn't know things that everybody else does know because he hasn't been around, and there's unique characteristics about, like at the end of this scene, Aunt Liv, who's already mad at him, is like, "Also, why do you look so young? That is so annoying. Like, why do you still look so young?" She's like frustrated. Absolutely, Lauren. Get all the eyes you can. She's like so frustrated with him simply because he doesn't look as old as he should. Because to her, he's like, I don't know, mid 40s, but to him, he's actually late 20s, early 30s, whatever that be. And so I love that tension right now because it's a time travel story that like she's mad at him because he should look older than he does. Then we get into, or this is another good example. We get into the next scene. Basically, Ezra wants to drive. Liam tells him no. And then the ending of the scene, because Ezra keeps pushing it and he's mad that he won't let him drive. And he's like, "Look, you claim I'm your dad. If I'm your dad, dads are allowed to drive." And then Liam finally like one ups him by going, "Do you have your driver's license?" And Ezra's like, doy, course." He goes, "And when does it say it expires?" He's like, "Not for another 3 more." And then he reads it and he realizes it's like 15 years expired in this timeline because he's from the past. So, guys, look, I stand by what I said a couple videos ago when I was in Houston. I do not like writing. I like having written. I stand by that. However, this is one of the funnest stories I've written in a really long time. Um, and I need that because I am like I'm losing my ever loving mind, guys. I'm not exaggerating. This thing has me on the ropes, so stressed. Also, a piece of that is because, okay, like 90 to 100 pages is what we would write for a movie. Okay, that's a movie. For this to be 6 episodes at 30 pages each, we committed to 180 pages for you math majors, which is 2 movies. Well, the more I've been writing, the more I'm like, I don't think 30 pages is enough. I think these might need to be more like 40 to 45 pages. Well, when you suddenly add 15 pages an episode over the course of 6 episodes, you know what you add? 90 pages, another movie. So at this point, we've made many movies, but we made them one at a time. We're now signing up for making 3 movies at once, like from just like a technical, like from a workload standpoint. We're talking about like shooting 270 pages when we normally shoot 90. Sort of in the same time frame that we would normally shoot 90, we're gonna try and shoot 270. And we've started the conversation of like, is 6 episodes enough? But if we go to 8 episodes, do you know what you get when you add 2 more episodes of 45 pages each? You get another 90. You get 4 movies in the same time frame that you were gonna normally shoot 1 movie. And you get a hernia or an aneurysm. I don't know, but it sounds terrifying as much as it sounds fun. So I don't even know where I was at with that, but that's I think I was saying we're having fun. We're having fun. So, look, I'm glad you're here. If you're just jumping in, welcome. We're we're just sort of working through kind of what I've written in this scene so far, and we're about to start writing. So, Ezra and Liam go to the jewelry store. Liam has another encounter with Harvey, his grandpa. I'll let you read some of this on your own because it's not super necessary for where we're going to go. One thing that I do think is necessary, just big picture story wise, is right here, while Liam is having a moment with Harvey, with Grandpa at the jewelry store, um, Ezra ends up in the park and ends up watching like a father and son playing catch. Initially, I had them having like a whole conversation, and this dad in the park like explaining to him what it's like to be a dad and blah blah blah. just felt really on the nose. I cut it all yesterday, I think, scaled it back to just like he just watches a father and son playing catch, and I really want him to the ending of this scene is the father, like the son sort of like goes to throw the ball, he can't do it, so he throws himself on the ground like pitching a fit, and the dad goes to him and he's like, "Hey, no, get up, no more. Look at my eyes. You can do this. Knock that off. Okay? I believe in you. Lift your elbow more and try it again." Like just like a fatherly push encourages him, but I want like the reason I want this scene here is because later when they're trapped in a bunker together and Liam starts getting really pessimistic, I want Ezra to like try that. Like I want Ezra to be like, "Hey, no, get up. No more. Look at my eyes. You like I want him to do it verbatim, like he tries it, like he's trying he's trying to be a dad and Liam is ticked. Like I want it to be like Liam's like, "Are you what are you doing? Are you trying to dad me right now? Like don't dude, don't don't do that to me." And that's really the tension these two are caught in. Like Ezra's like, "I don't know if I'm a dad. You might be lying." But then he's like, "Well, Liv just freaked out and she doesn't look exactly like I remember from last week in my real life. So maybe this is true." Liv's sort of the nail in the coffin for him to believing that it's true. So he starts trying at this point to process like, if I am a dad, what does this mean and what do I do about it? Um, where are we at? Oh, also, I think I'm changing where you can see at the sort of top of the screen, Eden's front office. The current name of the restaurant in any other drafts, if you've read it or if in other episodes that we've talked about it, the current name of the restaurant is like the Reed, I think. I think I'm changing it to Eden. Um, it's the name of my baby girl, my youngest daughter, and I kinda wanna involve every one of my kids in this because the point of this story is, like, the love of a father, like, that is the theme we're dealing with, so I'm trying to make it personal to me, but also the biblical concept of Eden being this place like, I started writing a song, like, about wanting to go back to Eden. Like, can you imagine what that felt like for Adam and Eve after they got booted? Like, they have all these memories. They have this place that used to be their daily life that suddenly is gone because of their own decisions, but ultimately, like, that is that's what this story is about. It's like it's the yearning for a season that's gone that we can't go back to. That's what it feels like to lose someone, that's what it feels like to go through a breakup, that's what it feels like to move places and feel like you have to start over, like, that's sort of that deeply human experience that I think every single one of us have had is that feeling of, "Oh, man, it's not even that the grass is greener on somebody else's yard, it's like the grass was greener at the last house." You know what I mean? Like, the grass was greener in my last yard, and that's really what Liam is grappling with. So, one of the ways I wanna do that is, like, sort of personifying the restaurant. Like, the restaurant represents that. The restaurant is I think I'm gonna call it Eden or, like, Eden's Place or, like, I haven't I'll actually take some thoughts on that, but I wanna use the word Eden in it, and Eden represents to Liam and to Liv and even to Manna, this, like, the memories of Mags that they can't get back anymore. To prove he's Ezra's son, what about if the watch originally belonged to Ezra, and Ezra used to take care of it a lot, so that's the one special item that used to belong to the intended. Ooh, Eden's Edibles. Greg, that sounds like a weed store, but kinda sounds like a weed place, yeah. I don't think Eden's Edibles. I don't think we can say edibles, but Eden's and I'm also just fine with, like, Eden, like, um, the yeah. Oh, I thought so, Melissa, to your point about the watch, I like that. I think I need to make sure probably need to do a whole live stream on the watch, honestly. I need to do a whole live stream just on the mechanics of the time machine and like how stuff gets affected when there's so much that changes when you move pieces around in a story about time travel, and it's very overwhelming. So, anyways, we need to actually write. But Aunt Liv is selling the restaurant. That's what you need to know here. She's in a conversation with Dax when we come in here. She's selling the restaurant, and um, Dax is Dax is the bad guy. You're not gonna like you're not gonna know that right away. Every other time we've seen him in episodes 1 and 2, he's a nice guy. He's the one loaning money to keep Eden afloat because Liv is drowning because Mags was the cook. You know, she was the chef. Once they lost Mags, they lost the good food. We discussed that a little bit in the scene. She's like, "What's the problem with the food?" And she's like, "It sucks. Like it hasn't been good since we had Mags last." So the restaurant's tanking, and Dax, for the first time in this scene, I want you to go. So, like, if you did open that link, like, if you're curious, there's a link earlier in the chat, should also be in the description of this video, where you can go read this actual script if you want. It probably won't be live much past tonight. I'll probably pull it back down tonight so that I can keep working in peace. But if you're interested in reading it after the stream or during the stream, um, tell me your thoughts of Dax in this scene, because it's the first time we come to him that I kind of want you to feel something a little bit. Um, Ultimately, Dax is a bad guy. Dax is wants the restaurant for nefarious reasons. He's trying to kind of snake the restaurant out from her, but he does it very weaselly, and he's doing it like Aunt Liv thinks he's just the best guy ever. Aunt Liv thinks that he's helping her. He's actually just trying to take it. So we have that moment. That's the context we have, and then we get into like this moment where they're walking through the woods to the treehouse. Ezra convinces Liam, "I think I know where this item is. I think I know where this thing is," but he's not willing to tell him where it is because he's trying to convince him to let him drive. It's in the treehouse. Liam's treehouse. So that's where we land. They've just walked through the woods, and this is actually a good place to pick up, and we'll start writing. How long have I been saying we'll start writing? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is the first rule of Write Club, though, is that it sometimes takes a minute to actually get to write. I don't know. So we finish with Ezra finally poses the question that's sort of, you can tell he's been grappling with for a while. And, Liam's sort of like, say it. What's your question? And he knows what he's trying to say. He's like, what are you trying to say? What's your question? And Ezra goes, well, you know what my question is. Why isn't there two versions of me here right now in your life? Like, if I'm actually your father, why am I not in your life? And Liam's just like, that's a really good question. And just walks away. Liam's kind of a turd. He's fun to write, though, because he's kind of a turd. All right, so here we come to the tree house, and we're actually going to write. See you, Scott. Thanks for joining in, man. We're actually going to write, and we're going to start here. For context, for you to understand where we're going, in this tree house, in like the middle of the tree house, is a hidden compartment that Liam does not know about, but Ezra does, because Liam, that's kind of scary. Is that the version that can you guys edit that? I'm sorry, I need to fix this. Like I said, I do not trust you guys. You should not be able to edit that. Oh, maybe it's just because it's my account. Somebody tell me in that link, try typing. I need to make sure that doesn't work. That'd be terrifying. I don't trust you guys. Sounds less weedy. Lauren, are you saying you can edit it? That's terrifying. Hold on. It's set to read only. You should not be able to do that. All right, guys, I'm going to trust you because I have it set to read only on my end. So it should not be here. I'm going to actually just revoke this. Create a new link. Read only. Create link. Copy link. All right, new link coming into the chat if you're interested. Tell me if that one's any better. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that I don't trust you. So in this treehouse, in the middle of this treehouse, sorry, I need the chat. So in the middle of this treehouse is a time capsule that Ezra and Mom put in together. So no, sorry. Yes, Ezra and Mags put together. So back in the day, they went in and like hid a bunch of stuff in this time capsule, like silly dating couples do at times. So they hide this, they create this time capsule, and then New Link works. And does that mean you can't edit it and you can just read? But they create this time capsule. And so Ezra's perspective is like, hey, let's go back to that time capsule because I think she would have that's where she would have hidden something. Like ultimately, if she's gonna like if she's gonna put something of importance, she would have put it in that time capsule. And Ezra's thinking to himself, he's very much still thinking that he is of importance. Ezra's thinking to himself, like, we just broke up, but like, he still thinks he's deeply valuable to Mags. And what I mean by that in the context of this scene is that he's thinking to himself, when we get to this time capsule, there's going to be a bunch of pictures, a bunch of stuff from our relationship. Like they did just break up, but he doesn't think that ultimately she would have done anything yet. So I still can't tell if you guys can edit the scene or not. I'm just going to trust you not to. How about that? How about that? And then I'll revoke the link after this. But they get to the treehouse, and Ezra gets to this time capsule, fully expecting that he's going to be able to like sort of. I think cockily, he's sort of like, I'm going to blow Liam's mind because he has no he has no idea how valuable like we are, like I was to her, I am to her, and gets there, and all of the stuff that he expects in the time capsule that was last there, like, that was there the last time he was there with Mags, it's all gone. So that's where we're coming into right now. It's all gone, and it's been replaced with one singular item that we need to discover. So here's the reality. You guys start by like probably thinking to yourself, hey, shut up and write already. But now I'm actually going to write. It's going to probably be real boring to watch. So as we're going, we're going to just work through some problems together as we come across them. So, we come into the scene. Ezra sees this painting of Mags, and he's sort of struck by it because he recognizes by the painting that this exists because she's gone. And to him, she's not gone. She's like out of his life, technically. They just broke up, but she's not gone. So I think this needs to sort of start a little sober. Like we come in and like tonally, this scene is Ezra is sort of like hit the gravity of this universe, this sort of alternate reality to him. The gravity of this is sort of beginning to like sort of start weighing on him. So he has this moment. He's staring at the painting, sober look on his face. Where do we go now? We're going to work together, guys. I trust your ideas. So, what do we think? I think I initially had it like, I don't remember what I deleted the line right before I started the stream. To be honest, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was like Liam is like, so where in this treehouse do you think that something exists that I don't know about? And I initially had Ezra like, no, I'm not telling you anything until you answer my questions. I think I've fallen out of love with that. I kind of like the idea of Ezra sort of trying to hold the cards a little bit, trying to, sort of keep the upper hand a touch, but I don't. It felt like it slowed the scene down. That's why I deleted it. Ultimately, it felt like it sort of killed the pace. We need to move forward. So maybe we literally this was not on my radar until right this second, but maybe we literally just like Ezra actually just answers his question. Okay, which could sort of work. What if like Ezra's perspective is like, I'm going to answer your question because it proves that I know things you don't know. Ezra's trying to prove his usefulness. Yeah. That's how they initially they're gonna bond. So Aristotle's sort of levels of usefulness is what's sort of inspiring the 3, like, resources that that father and son has to work through. So, like, Aristotle's 3 levels of friendship that he talks about are, like, utility. It starts with utility, like, "You're my friend because you're useful to me." Like, you help me in some way. That's how we initially bond is like you got me out of a jam, like whatever it is. Like sort of the initial level of usefulness is how we initially bond with people. And then it's like pleasure. It's like I enjoy you. Like you're not awful to be around. Even if you're not helping me, I actually have begun to enjoy you as a person. Right. And then it ultimately ends in like virtue. Virtue is like whether you're useful right now or you're enjoyable right now, like you're still my friend. Like that's the place that we've come to. So I want to see them progress through the scope of them finding and developing these resources to get to fixing the machine so they can send dad back because that's how they do it is they find the totems, the sort of symbols that represent each of the 3 questions that the machine is posing to them to fulfill the requirements of the failsafe. Each one I want to progressively work through those levels of friendship, if that makes sense. So we're starting with that place of usefulness. Like they're going to start bonding by one of them having value. So let's say right now Ezra has the value because Liam is the one who's angry. You know what I mean? Like Liam is the one that's ticked and that means we need to overcome that. We need to have a moment so the if you've been watching the series, we've been talking a lot about story. And ultimately the best stories are we're trying to do this thing, but then this happened. Therefore, this happened. So now we're trying to do this new thing, but then this happened. So this is the space that we're in right now. It's going to go Ezra becomes useful because he knows where this time capsule is. They was I calling it a time capsule earlier? If I wasn't, that's what I meant. For some reason that word sounds foreign. He knows where this time capsule is. They go and find the time capsule, and it's not what he thought. It's actually a video message. I'm thinking one of those, like, tiny remember, like, those old school, like, mini DVDs, like, the really small ones? It's one of those or a VHS, one of the 2. Maybe it's a VHS, and it's an old video from Mags when Liam was a child. Now it wouldn't be VHS. He's Gen Z technically. Um, Liam was a child. She recorded a message, and it's, like also, I'm thinking, like, it's videos of him growing up. So it's cool for Ezra too because he gets this moment right now of getting to see some of the stuff he missed. Like Ezra gets to like experience, that the future Ezra missed. So Ezra gets to experience here this like kind of what he missed out on. So it becomes deeply valuable to Liam because he gets to see his mom again and it's a video he's never seen before. It's deeply valuable to Ezra because he didn't see any of these memories. He gets them these are the first time he's experiencing these things, which is transformational to him as a person. But then the way that he sees them is Liam is like, "Hey, like, I wanna see this before we put it in the machine. Like, where how can I watch this?" And Ezra's like, "I know a place." And he knows his dad has like a prepper bunker. He has like a doomsday bunker on the property near the treehouse that Liam doesn't know about. So they go to that bunker and yeah, maybe like a USB drive, but it just needs to be something that like he's forced into the place of, "I wanna see this now. How can I go watch this right now?" So they to the bunker to watch it, and when they go into the bunker to watch it is when Ezra accidentally locks them in. So we're gonna go Ezra's useful, they're bonding, they're getting closer and closer, and then Liam does something or Ezra does something wrong, even, it's an accident, but he does something wrong, which gets Liam to feel validated back in this place of like, I knew you weren't useful. Like I knew you were gonna screw it up, right? Which then gets us back into this place of um the conflict and the tension. So let's go like right away. Sorry, I'm gonna be processing out loud. That's why you guys are here, right? Let's go right away. Maybe like Ezra is like happy to tell him where where this thing is. So let's go. No, he's not even gonna talk. I think Ezra should just brag via action. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. I think Ezra should just brag physically. Like he just like Fonzie, like Fonzie with the jukebox with the foot. You kick it or elbow it. I think that's what it is. That's fun. What about that? Like instead of him even trying to respond to it, he's just like Ezra. Ezra pounds. Because I'm thinking the time capsule in my head, it's like if I can pull it off, I want it in the middle of the tree. Like the tree house goes around a central tree and like hollowed out in the middle of the tree, hidden behind the bark. Like you wouldn't look at the tree and like know that it's there. Behind that is this time capsule that they've hidden. So Ezra pounds his fist on the central tree. Like a hatch opens. It's okay. You can be impressed. Ezra's so stupid. He like makes me mad sometimes, but I think that's what's fun about it. Just be a button, like he like feels around and sort of okay, so maybe like he pounds his fist on the central tree and a click is heard. Like it's like the button is sort of hidden underneath the bark. Like you don't even see it. Like it's sort of like it would be like when you know it's there, it's a slight protrusion, but it's like and a click is heard. A small hatch opens. Ezra like sarcastically is like, "It's okay. You can be impressed. It's all right." Wow, thank you, Lauren. Princess Bride, A Secret Notch. I don't remember that scene. What's that scene? That's like one of my favorite movies. We were just quoting that today. I cannot even think of that scene. Somebody's gonna have to help me with that one. It's okay. You can be impressed. I think Liam would ignore him. So this is the hardest part about like writing scripts. Um, keeping track of everybody that's in the room and what they're doing, trying to see that, but also trying to each line get inside their heads of like how would he respond? I think Liam would just be annoyed. Like he would ignore him. Liam ignores Ezra and bends down to look in. At this point, Ezra would be like Ezra would be showing like showing off at this point. Yeah, because he's like he expects a bunch of other stuff in there. So maybe Liam leans in and Ezra doesn't even look. Like Ezra sort of cockily keeps his head up and he's like starts describing all the things that he's about to see. And Liam's like, it's empty. Which then shocks Ezra. That's funny. Princess Bride, yes, when Inigo's dad helps him find the tree and he leans on it in frustration and found to the pit of to the pit of despair. Okay, I do remember that. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I know something you don't know. I am not left-handed. Okay, so Liam like ignores Ezra because he's on the task. Like that's what he cares about. He's trying to find the resource. He wants like his motivation is like, I want this guy out of here as fast as humanly possible. Like that's actually one of the lines at the very, very beginning scene where it's like Ezra's like, what do you want, dude? Like, what's this whole charade about? You just like want money?" Um, it's right before Aunt Liv shows up. He goes, "What do you want, kid? You want money or something?" And he goes, "I literally, exclusively, with extraordinary fervor, just want you gone so I can bring my mom back." So Liam's entire motivation at this point, not even at this point, this whole time, he is trying to get rid of him. You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Inconceivable. Um, Never go up against a Sicilian if death is on the line. So Liam ignores Ezra, bends down to look in. Ezra starts running his mouth. So Ezra, I don't know, like, I know it's probably no, that's a question, Lauren. So it is a so I'm gonna actually, you may have even noticed if you've watched the videos, I've started to use the word show. I'm still gonna leave the branding as like, let's make a movie together. It is a show in the sense that if you're like working in Hollywood, Lord of the Rings will be called a show, just like Seinfeld would be called a show. They're just like, hey, I'm working on this show, and the show is Avengers. It's just kind of the common term, but also it's a show in the sense that it's episodic. So this is episode 3 of at least 6. We're talking about maybe it's going to be 8, but I'm really hoping I can just do it in 6 and just elongate each episode. I have a feeling each episode is going to probably end up closer to an hour, but it's going to be 6 episodes still. That's kind of my goal. But it is a show in the sense that it's a limited series. It's a show in the sense that it's episodic. It's a movie in the sense that it is a limited series, meaning I'm not planning 5 seasons for this show. Planning 1 season, planning to wrap up the entire story in a series of 6 or 8 episodes, which is more movie-esque. The technical term is limited series. The problem is, if I make the title, "Let's make a limited series together," it's nobody knows what that means, and it gets very confusing. Well, I'm sure it's confusing either way, but it is episodic in the sense that a normal TV show. Where you put it on, that's actually a really interesting question because I just had a phone call with our one of our distribution partners this morning about this subject. Like, the conversation, because they do distribute to, like, Netflix and stuff like that, and again, just because we want it on Netflix doesn't mean Netflix wants it on Netflix. That's always half the problem. But their deal is, like, they are really big fans of not so I've spent 15 years selling our rights to our films to other companies. That's the old model, that's how it's always been done, and so, like, for 15 years, we've been making stuff and then, like, signing a contract with somebody, and our first film, that contract was 10 years long, and the second film was 2 years, and then it was so bad, I had to get a lawyer and get out of that deal, and then we signed, with a different company for 4 or 5 years, and that was awful, and that finally just finished. That's why Tucker Therapy, we just got the rights back to it, and it's up on places like Tubi. We put it on our YouTube channel. Um, Defiant is still in a 10-year contract. It's on, like, year 5, so it's another 5 years before I can make any decisions about that movie again. And so, like, the historical model is, like, very predatory. They, like, sort of take people like us, and we knew what we were getting into, at least by the second movie, but it's not advantageous to us on any level. It always ends up we make next to no money or no money. Tucker has yet to make a dollar. Tucker Therapy is like, it's a movie we finished in 2015. It got released to the world in 2019, and it is still not brought in. Actually, no, it's made like $150 at this point because it finally went on Tubi a couple months ago. So this is a side tangent, but this is top of mind right now because the current plan is to, like, keep it. I don't know. It's like my current heart is like we keep all the rights because I've actually started seeing ways that the Lord is utilizing that method where that used to make 0 money. It's actually made us, like, I Love Christmas Parties in the last year has made more than every single other movie we've ever put out all combined over the last 15 years. So the entire budget of this show that we're writing right now, the entire budget is money that I Love Christmas Parties has made in the last 2 years, which is like that's the model that we've been dreaming about for over a decade, right? The model is like, as we make stuff, it makes money to make other stuff. That's the dream. But we've just never been able to do it. Like, this is the first time we've actually been able to do that. So that's super exciting. I'm still gonna pursue some conversations with probably literally Netflix or, like, people like Netflix, in that space. There's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Peacock, Paramount Plus. There's a good amount of streamers out there at this point. I have yet to pursue any of them because, um, it'll radically change the way we're gonna do this. Like, if I'm just, like, totally honest with the chat. Right now, we're talking releasing this end of 2025. Uh, if it's coming out on Netflix, it's gonna get released end of 2026, because once I take control out of my own hands, it's like, when we've done Christmas things with, like, Pure Flix, they're now called Great American Pure Flix, they got bought by Hallmark, but, like, when they were with Sony and we did I Love Christmas parties through them, that, like, they had to when they picked that up in August for their Christmas slate, that was months late. It was like, "Hey, the budget's almost gone, but there's a little bit left. Would you be interested in I Love Christmas parties being on our platform? Just because there's money left in the budget." And I was like, "Oh, sure." But, like, what they really wanted, if it's a Christmas thing, they want it by April, May, June, maybe, but that's getting late. So there's no scenario where this thing is done, produced, completely cut, edited, blah, 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 all of that by June. And because it's a Christmas thing, you can't just delay it a couple months. You have to wait to release a Christmas thing the following Christmas. So it's become very, very complicated for us and, like, the marketing side of it, which is the part I suck at. It's the part I don't enjoy at all. I don't know if you know this, but Popcorn Flicks put Tucker Therapy on YouTube, and they're probably, yeah. Oh yeah, they're making money off us. I know. It was I actually try I've commented on that video multiple times, and every single time I do, they take it down, and, like, they delete my comment and pretend it never happened, and they don't have a contact listed, so the only way really to contact them, yeah. Technically, they have it up illegally. It is what it is. They got it legally. They got it from when it was licensed with a company that no longer has rights to it. We have the rights back now, but it is what it is. Honestly, I remember the first time I found out that Defiant was being pirated. Like, it's, like, got pretty popular in, like, India and, like, some torrent sites. I'm here for it. I think that's exciting. Like, if we're getting pirated, that means we're doing something right. So at least the message is getting out. All right. Sorry, guys. Tangent. It was actually a great question. Or maybe I'm stalling because I don't know where to go next. Okay, so Liam ignores Ezra, bends down to look in, and then he's gonna be sarcastic. Like, I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually know things. I want to ride this line with Ezra between, like the way a dad would talk and the way a 20 something would talk, because he's technically both. But he probably needs to be more 20 something than dad, because he has no idea how to be a dad. So I know that can't be the first thing he says. Like, Liam ignores Ezra and bends down to look in. It's okay, you can be impressed. Ezra here needs to keep talking. So are we still with you guys? You still, yeah, okay. Just want to make sure it's still updating for you. Okay, it's okay, you can be impressed. No, let's say it. I lied. Let's do it here. I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually know things. You may not even know this. No, that's lame. Yeah, he'll be more matter of fact. I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually know things. I did build this place. That time capsule. So he's just rambling, and then Liam's going to interrupt him. That time capsule is full of every memory she and Every memory, he'd say her name, Mags and I. I know it's probably mind-numbing to you, but I actually know things. I did build this place. That time capsule is full of every memory Mags and I ever. And then I think he just interrupts him. It's empty. Huh? Error. Error. Huh? It's what's another like see Lauren? What's another phrase for like did I stutter? Like how can we say that? Like yes, he uses old slang. Like a scene I think it's actually gonna be in the bunker. Um he's like they're having a conversation about why they're going back to the conversation of like, why am I not in your life? Like, why is dad not like why am I not here? And Liam is like convinced that he knows that his dad knows he exists and he has chosen not to pursue a relationship with him. That's Liam's perspective. I don't think that's true, but I think that's Liam's perspective because he's like, are you telling me like honestly you're going to look me in the eyes and tell me that like you never once came across a photo of us on social and um or maybe I was even thinking maybe Insta. Like you didn't never once came across a photo of us on Insta and as Ezra's like was that a complete sentence? On what's social? What are you talking about? And then they get in a conversation about like MySpace because that's ultimately that's Ezra's frame of reference for social media once he understands what Liam's talking about is MySpace. And maybe it's because I'm old, but that's hilarious to me because I obviously there's not a single Gen Zer on planet Earth at this point that has probably ever used MySpace. We need to bring MySpace back. Let's bring it back. MySpace was a good time. I miss Tom. Um, okay, so are you deaf? Am I speaking another language? Yeah, but is there like I feel like I guess are you deaf? But like is there one that's actually like common that I can't think of right now? Friendster. Um, could he just like literally like just be super rude, sarcastic? Like it's empty. Or how about we go the language route and it's like, do you need Spanish? It's empty. Ezra bends down and puts his head in. Nothing is so now we see this will be the first shot where we actually see the hello, Chris Tucker. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? No fool. Nobody understands the words that are coming out of your mouth. This is the first shot where we'll actually see that like we'll see from the POV like inside the like the cavity. I don't know what to call it. Nothing is there but a small here's the thing. If we go the USB drive route, if we go the USB route, they're taking it into grandpa's bunker. Grandpa is, Harvey's not high tech. Harvey, like that bunker in there is going to be pretty low tech. So I'm thinking like a DVD player with a TV is probably already a bit of a stretch, but it's probably a fair stretch. Um, let's go with the DVD. Nothing is there but a small case. No, but a mini DVD in a yellow disc. What do you call those? Were they cases? Old people can have laptops. Yeah, I just don't think he left it in his bunker. That's sort of my thought. Is that like whatever's down there has to be like permanent stuff that he put there for the sake of um I think he's actually a prepper. That's sort of my thought process. Is he like he's he's like there's a bunch of food and stuff down there, and like he's got his stuff going on. Um, what did they call it? What is it? Yellow disc. It's not a jacket. It's a jacket. Jacket was something different. Yellow disc case. All right. Nothing's there but a mini DVD and a yellow disc case. What? Where's we've okay. So to Ezra, he's like, we've been broken up like 15 minutes. It's part of the mechanics I sort of got to still figure out. Like, what? He's like, we've been broken up like 15 minutes. Like to him, it was like it just happened. It's okay. It's okay. You can be impressed. Someone just text me. It's okay. You can be impressed. Um, what? We've been broken up like 15 minutes. Um, oh, babe, if you want to come, feel free to come. I mean, the kids would be super fun, but I'm still gonna be writing. So if you want to come and it sounds fun to them, come on the stream. Um, we've been broken up like 15 minutes. What does Liam say to that? I feel like the lowest hanging fruit is like he corrects him and it's like it's been 18 years, but that's not funny. Like what? We're broken up like 15 minutes. Like like bro, I'm not gonna keep explaining time travel to you. What? We've been broken up like 15 minutes. Is it understandable at that point if Liam just like rolls his head? Like, I want to make sure that that joke doesn't get lost. Like, people understand why it's funny. Does Liam need to respond to that to like get the joke? If Ezra just goes, "What? Where's we've been broken up like 15 minutes." Liam, I think Liam it just ignores him. I think that's the best move right now. I'm sure. This is all gonna get rewritten anyway. Sorry guys. We just gotta write the first draft at some point. Was it Ralph Waldo Emerson? I think said the first draft of everything is garbage crap. Liam Ezra bends down, puts his head in. Nothing's there but a mini DVD and a yellow disc case. What? We've been broken up like 15 minutes. Liam takes the DVD out gingerly. It says in permanent marker on it in permanent marker we read for Liam. Ezra says, Liam actually reaches past Ezra, somewhat pushing him out of the way. And takes the DVD out gingerly. On it, in permanent marker, we read, for Liam. Ezra. That's Mag's handwriting. Probably a statement. That's Mag's handwriting. Okay. This all happened so fast. Like, not literally. Been at this an hour and a half, but I feel like we get to this moment in the scene too quickly. This is kind of the climax of the scene. I feel like we didn't earn it. I'm gonna go back on something I said. We didn't. It's a gift. So, what's the so Ezra just walked away from this conversation where he goes, "Why am I not in your life?" Liam doesn't answer him really. So that's still got to be the thing that's on his mind, right? Like Ezra has to still be thinking. So what's the answer? Why am I not in this kid's life? That's got to be what's still driving him. So I know I initially said at the beginning, because I had cut that line out that said, like, no, I want answers first. What if instead of though him like actually saying no and like stopping it, he just presses the question again? What's his most like prescient question right there? Like, what's the most important thing? Like, actually, chat, like, what is the most? So this guy comes back from the past. He doesn't know he's a father. He suddenly finds out he's a father. But when he finds out that he's a father, he realizes he's not present in his son's life. His son doesn't even know him. This is the first time they've met, which means this dude hasn't been around for the better part of 2 decades. What is he thinking? What is he feeling? What is his desire in this moment? What does he want to know more than anything? It's not, I can't go into the social conversation. I can't get goofy. Like, what does Ezra want to know? We're going to pivot to be a bit more serious here. What does Ezra want? Yes, the question Melissa said, didn't they break up? Why did you choose your job over my mom? That is eventually Liam's question. Likewise, is the job more? Again, that's eventually Liam's question. But Liam doesn't want to talk to him. Liam is trying to just make things happen. Ezra is slowing the process down because Ezra is confused. Liam's ultimate question that he's going to get to in the bunker is, why were you there? Liam, like, eventually, when he begins to like find a love for his father, then he will want to know, like, why did you leave? Like, why did you let her go? And we'll answer that. But first, Liam selfishly is not, he's 18, like 17, 18. He has dealt for 17, 18 years with not having a dad. He's not suddenly like if dad actually decided to come into his life, I think that'd be his question. Like, why were you gone? But because of the nature of how he ended up in his life, which was, I was trying to get mom and you screwed it up. His question is, why'd you screw it up? I think that's Liam's question. Liam's question is like, why were you on that bench? I put in the coordinates and the time for that bench because mom told me she was the one on that bench. Mom told me that she was there my whole life. She's told me she was there. So why were you there? You guys just broke up. Why were you not gone? So that's Liam's question. And we'll get to that. But not now. Right now, Ezra is the one pushing it forward. And Ezra wants to know what? What does Ezra care about? Selfishly, he probably somewhat is like, how was my career? Like, did I succeed? Like, did I make a name for myself as a chef like I wanted to, like I planned to? Why did I should we answer a spam call live on the air? Um, why wasn't I present? What's it? Okay, so how do we get back to how would you like somebody awkwardly evaded your question? You asked a serious question. He goes, "Why am I not in your life?" You know, that's like one of the last things they talk about. Do you need Spanish? I'll do a grammar and spelling pass later. Um, so you know what my question is. Why isn't there two versions of me here right now? If I'm actually your father, why am I not in your life? Maybe he just like continues the conversation. He doesn't even reiterate the question. He's just like, was I at one? Maybe he just like keeps talking. Like he just sort of continues from where we left off. I don't know. Let's try it. Okay, so we're probably here. I don't like that line from Liam. So where in my treehouse do you think something exists that I don't know about? That's lame. We need to start with Ezra. Stash that. Like was I? All right, buckle in, chat. We're gonna hit a flow state at some point. I know it's just me. It's okay. You can watch the playback. For those of you that are still here, thanks for being here. Love you. Appreciate you. Even if you're not still here and you were here at one point, love you. Appreciate you. Ezra's staring at the painting of Mags with a sober look on his face. Was I? Was I around as when you were a kid? And then we split up? You're good, Tammy. It's been very interesting. I had a lot of conversations with people the last this project. Like you've even probably saw like on Instagram or TikTok, just trying to figure out like what are what are people's thoughts on this? This is like, to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, this has never been done. I don't think there's really many movies or shows that people like let people in the whole process and like welcome them in. And I don't need people to contribute. I don't ever want people to feel pressure. Like truly, like this is my job and I actually love it. Um, I just I want to make and I want the door open like that was. But I've noticed in talking to people that like the writing process is like super intimidating to people, which I get because it's also super intimidating to me. And I think a lot of people, like my mother-in-law told me this. She said, when I saw the promo of like, hey, we're gonna make a movie together, she's like, I thought you already had it written and we were gonna like start watching the shooting process. And I think that was a lot of people. Even though like from my perspective, I was like in the promo, I said, you can contribute ideas while we're writing. Like you can start watching the script being written from day one. But I think maybe that just went over people's heads and they sort of assumed what I meant was what they got excited about is I want to be an extra in this or I want to audition or like I want to watch the background process of like production happening, which will for sure be the most interesting content we will make is like the actual shooting process. It'll write itself because problems will just happen and we'll just have to solve them. And as long as we get it on camera, people will get to enjoy the sort of entertainment side of it. But it'll also be the hardest content to get out because once we start going, like we did the math, and if we give ourselves 4 months to shoot this, which is going to be hard because it's not enough time, that's only like 80 or 90 shooting days based on our actual calendar. And if we go nonstop 5 days a week for 4 months straight, I'm still not sure if we'll be able to finish it. So then if we add on, like, producing YouTube content while we're shooting the film, that's my concern, but, we're gonna try. So if you're in this process and you're like, "Hey, what I was excited about was watching the film get made, not the writing process," I understand, truly. You're not hurting my feelings. Um, I just wanna give the people that, like, the writing process is interesting, I wanna give them space to contribute and enjoy that process as well. I think when Ezra is standing there, I think, like, that's what he's doing, is he's standing there looking at that painting of Mags, and he's thinking to himself, like he's probably thinking, like, "How would I" he's probably honestly thinking about, like, yesterday to him. He's thinking, "How did I let this woman go?" He's thinking, "Did I make the right call?" Okay, so what if that's the angle? What if it's kind of like what if he's saying to Liam what if he says to Liam kind of like he's staring at the painting and he's like, "So it's safe to assume" is that too early to do this? I was gonna say, "It's safe to assume she doesn't take me back." Meaning so, like, context, the reason he ends up on the bench is he was going back to try to get her back, but she was already gone, and because he didn't pursue her in the moments where she felt like she gave him that opportunity, she doesn't, like, answer his phone call, and that's how they're able to, like at least that's the current iteration, that's how they're able to split apart and go on their merry way. She doesn't know she's pregnant, so she lets him go because it's just a boyfriend who didn't follow through and actually pursue her the way that, like, she needed to be pursued. Then later, she finds out she's pregnant, and at that point is probably hurt, bitter, doesn't, you know, then eventually, doesn't reach out, and then eventually gives Liam the option and actually wants him to. Like the Liam and Mag's final conversation that you're not going to actually see until like the last thing they talked about before she died, which you won't know until almost the end. Like meaning like probably episode 5, 6 will flash back. I think 6 will flash back to it. Is she pushes him to to let to find his dad. She pushes him to try and get to know his dad. Ultimately, that's what this story is about. Is like I wanted my mom, but I didn't get my mom, but I got my dad. Right? At least at this point in the story, that's what he's going to get out of it. Um, so he's standing there. Ezra's standing there, and he's thinking to himself, "How did I let her get away?" We'll just try it. So I assume she didn't take me back. Probably not even a question. It's a statement. He goes, "So I assume she didn't take me back." So was I so I assume she didn't take me back. Or was I there at first and then it just didn't work out? You're not honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before. Can you please? Liam, no nonsense. Where's the time capsule? Where's the he doesn't know it's a time capsule yet. Where's the thing? Come on, kid, give me something. Would you, for anyone who's still in the chat, like, would you get this line if I said, "Come on, kid, give me something"? You're telling me I don't even know I'm a dad, and you're telling me that I'm a Minority Report deadbeat dad. Do you guys know the movie Minority Report? I'm trying to figure out how to weave that in because that's such an interesting concept. But I'm curious right away whether and people would even get that reference. I'll give the chat a second to actually catch up. Come on, kid, give me something. Find out in the same day that I'm not only a dad, but also a deadbeat. Where was I? Where was I? Where am I? He's starting to get hot. Like he's getting angry. Yes, I don't understand the reference, but I understand the sentence. So like Minority Report is they have these like weird beings that like can tell they know the future. So they arrest people based on future crimes they're going to commit. So they go on it's like a, moral ethical dilemma because they arrest people for crimes they have yet to commit, but they are going to commit if they don't arrest them. And so I'm trying to figure because essentially from Ezra's perspective, he's like, I haven't done any of these things yet, and you still hate me. Like you're mad at me for things I haven't done yet. But from Liam's perspective, he's like, I'm mad at you for the last 18 years of my life. I'm not mad at you for things you didn't do. I'm mad at you for things you did do. It's probably not a good spot for it if it's not immediately understood. I got to figure out how to phrase it better later. Come on, kid, give me something. I find out in the same day that I'm not only a dad, but also a deadbeat. LOL, beat. If you're curious or if you're confused too, beat means like pause, like take a beat. Meaning when I have that line delivered, I want it to be like, come on, kid, give me something. Actually, probably beat. Like I find out in the same day that I'm not only a dad, but also a deadbeat. Like, like where was I? Where am I? I don't know. Okay, let's wait on this line. Let's go. Or was I there at first and it just didn't work out? Let's go instead of that line right there. Let's move it. So I assume she didn't take me back. Or was I there at first and then it just didn't work out with not and oops. And it just didn't work out with us? Where's the thing? Come on, kid. Give me something. I find out in the same day that I'm not only a dad, but also a deadbeat. You have to appreciate that is to comprehend. Where was I? Where am I? I don't know. Hot. He's angry now. You're honestly trying to tell me. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before. I kinda want Liam to, like, tell a story. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Blacklist, but, like, how Reddington would, like, suddenly make a point through an absurdly long story. I don't want him to he's not going from that angle, but he's like, that's his answer. Like, that's what comes to mind for him. Like, you're honestly telling me you've never met me before. Like, almost. Add a, like, never to put the stronger impression on it, maybe. Like, never where? You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before. Like, oh, you're saying, like, punctuate it with, like, never. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before? Ever? I don't know if Liam should be the one that tells the story. Liam doesn't care enough. Liam's angry. So, like, you're honestly trying to tell me that we've never met me before, like, ever. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before? Ever? I think what I am struggling with is if I have Liam, like, tell him a story right now, I was gonna be like, maybe Liam came close, and I think I'm open to that. Liam, like, at one point came close to, um, t like, he found him, and he, like, approached him, or, like, he got near like, I don't know, he actually did go over to, I guess, because technically based on the earlier scene in this episode, the first scene in this episode, Ezra's in New York now. He's no longer in London, he's in New York. They are in I don't know. They're in I think they're in Imlay City, Michigan. That may be what we go with. So, maybe Liam at one point, like, went to New York, went to the restaurant, was about to go in, sort of watched him as a at a distance, but never got the courage to, like, go have the conversation. But that's something I gotta, like that's like an episode 6 thing. That's not something I think I can do right now. I think that's too deep, too fast emotionally for Liam. I hear children. I hear the pitter patter and the voices of little toddlers coming into the studio. So, if you love me mostly because you love my kids, I understand, but you're in for a treat. He would reckon Liam knows what Ezra looks like. He's followed him on, like, social. Like, not this Ezra because he doesn't know what social is, but the actual Ezra, he knows what he looks like. He's followed him, and if it's not and I also have toyed with, like, maybe he doesn't really use social, like, even the modern, like, the current Ezra, but, like, he's a well-renowned chef, so, like, articles about him and, like, that kinda stuff. So, like, he has followed along his, career. Liam has followed Ezra's career, I mean. So, he can know what he looks like. He can track him down. Mags would have even given him pictures of his dad so that he could track him down, but he doesn't. So, I think in this moment, you're not honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before, ever. What's like, Liam needs to he could go into, like, a tirade of, like, how his dad wasn't there for him. I don't know if it's helpful right now moving the story forward. Could go to the place of, like, Yeah, like why would I want to meet you? I hear him. I hear her. Hi, sweet girl.
Hi, Dada.
Hi, monkeys.
I painted my
Hi,
nails.
dudes.
I painted my nails for my soccer team.
Beautiful. Oh, because we're the red team. We're Spidey and friends. How you doing? Come over here,
We
bud.
watched you on TV.
You did? Ez, come over on this side so people can see you and say hi. Melissa says, Manna, Ezra.
I love you, Dada.
I love you, buddy. Come here. You see yourself? You see yourself on the TV? You can take your hat off.
I do.
See yourself?
You've been enjoying watching.
You've been enjoying watching?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
My
Hi. Hi. You see yourself too? Oh, I don't like that you like seeing yourself.
You're one.
I don't like that.
Guess what? I
What?
brought my fake phone.
Why? You don't need your fake phone.
Bigger one.
Melissa says hi to Eden and Janelle too. And Ethan says, go red team. Go red team.
Does he actually?
He did. He said, go red team. And then Miranda said, hi, you guys. So that's all right. So, did you find my squeezy donut? Do you see yourself? I don't like that. I don't like that you like that so much. All right, guys, we're stuck. What should we do? What's Liam's response when his dad is like, you're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before? Hi. Ever. He goes, you've never met me before? Hi. And then Liam says, what does he say?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you gotta help me. And then Liam says, like, well, let's just go with what Melissa said. We'll figure out if it works eventually you just have to try it. So you're trying to tell me that you've never met me before, ever? Okay, what if he punches? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Miranda. What if he like what if he's like, no, and you know what else? Like, I could have. Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna take the idea Melissa's saying, but phrase it differently. Oh. What up, Gabby? Gabby says, hi, I love you guys. Here's my problem, chat. I do think that I like the next part, which is the like, it's okay. You can be impressed. Like, but Ezra can't be like sort of lackadaisical. You know what I mean? We have to like bring it down about 5 notches now after this. Like we have to descend. We're gonna have to bring the plane down so that we can get back to this. Like, man, I don't know if you can ever get back to this goofy, sarcastic version of Ezra in this scene if we go to the place we're talking about going. Like if we let Liam be that mean, how do we get back to lightheartedness? That's an honest question. Because I think I like the sort of lighthearted stuff that we've developed so far because we're about to bond and then he's going to get mad at him for letting him lock. Please don't let her. If she unplugs that, I lose the stream. Hey, you can stay with me. Just don't pull on things. Come here. You can sit on my lap. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, if we let Liam get like really mean, then Ezra can't just like shrug that off. That doesn't work. Hey, you. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before? Ever? Okay. I have another scene. Maybe the snap is in the bunker. Yeah. He kind of avoids it for now. That's kind of what I was thinking is maybe we actually table the like anger, and he gives like sarcastic angry. So Miranda, since you're in the chat, what do you think about that scene? So I wrote a scene a while back that was like, could maybe work for this moment. It was like, Mom, I don't know how to get to it from here. That's what I might need help with. But he's like, Mom told me I could come meet you when I turn 16. And Dad's like, well, how old are you? He's like, 17. He's like just turned 17, almost 18. Oh, like, oh, okay. That tone could work here, and it's kind of. Let's try it. You're honestly trying to tell me you've never met me before, ever? No. Mom told me I could meet you when I turned 16. Ezra, how old are you? How old are you? Oh, we'll go. Sorry, so you can see it. No, Mom told me I could meet you when I.
ride my bike downstairs.
You're gonna go ride your bike downstairs? Yeah. As soon as I'm done with this, we can actually. I'll go help you. How old are you?
Then ride a bike downstairs.
How old are you?
I don't know. I don't stairs down. Then jump down.
You're gonna jump down the stairs? No.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Then
Mom told me I could meet you when I turned 16. No. Okay. So he's like sassy, not cutty. I went away for food and came back to. Yeah, this is the best, right, Tammy? You say hi. Everybody say hi. You say hi. Man, if you come over on this side, you can be seen. As if you want to be seen, if you want to say hi to people. Okay, so no, okay. Mom told me I can meet you when I turn 16. Well, how old are you? 17. Oh, hold on. We pushed a button. Mom told me I could meet you when I turned 16. Well, how old are you? 17. All right, Edie girl. Ezra. Like, sorry, Ezra in the story.
Ezra literally
I bet the house has been so confusing. Yes. Ezra, 17. Like, just turned 17? Like, just turned 17? Buddy, go downstairs if you want to go downstairs. Mama can take you downstairs. That's fine. Manna, you want to just hang with me or you want to go downstairs?
Mama, can you go get my phone?
No, you do not need your fake little paper phone, little girl. Parents in the chat, help me. My daughter makes her own phones because she knows I will never let her have a phone anywhere near this age, not even close, by a good decade and a half, at least a solid decade plus. And so she takes paper and makes her own cell phones, matches them, draws the apps, does the whole nine, makes them look just like mama's phone. Yeah. I don't like it. It bothers me. It bothers me on the level of like the fake little sticker earrings that she puts on. I don't like it. Doesn't mean you don't look beautiful, but that's probably why I don't like it. Because you don't look like you're almost 5. It immediately makes you look like you're like 10, and it's not cool. Okay? I don't know why we're trying to expedite the aging process. What?
Did you know that my phone has a popcorn app?
Popcorn. What's a popcorn app? What's a popcorn app?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, all right. Thanks for nothing. She's not telling me, huh? Yeah, she definitely doesn't lack creativity. That's partly what's scary. Okay. No, okay. Mom told me I can meet you when I turn 16. Well, how old are you? 17. Like just turned 17? Liam. Liam. Almost 18. I think that's an okay moment if it's like, if you're dissing her phone, why would she show you what the popcorn app is? I think that's an okay moment to sort of have Ezra's kind of like, like sort of sarcastic hurt. Because I think if we go too much deeper where it's like, makes theaters deliver. I think if we go too much deeper and we make it like it's a hurt, we can't get sarcastic in just a minute like we sort of need to. You guys can come in. You can also climb around if you want to, buddy. That's okay. We're almost done.
There's a bug.
There's a bug. Yep, there's bugs. There's bugs because those are windows. Okay, so what do you guys think? How about real quick chat? Go back through, read this scene so far. Let's see if it feels all right. And we're gonna wrap this one up. So, you ready, guys? You want to listen?
Yeah.
We're gonna read the scene we just wrote. So they come in the treehouse. Ezra's staring at the. So like when we come back to the treehouse, because we're coming from a shot of Manna. Hey, you got to listen right now. We're coming from a shot of Manna. Manna's at work and she's like reading a text from Liam. So we're coming from a shot of Manna at work reading a text that just came from Liam. And so we come back in and they're already inside the treehouse. We don't need to see them coming in. They're inside the treehouse and Ezra is staring at the painting of Mags. As he's staring at the painting of Mags, he says, "So I assume she didn't take me back. Or was I there at first and then it just didn't work out with us?" Liam, where's the thing? Ezra, come on, kid. Give me something. I found out in the same day that I'm not only a dad, but also a deadbeat. Like, you have to appreciate how hard this is to comprehend. Where was I? Where am I? I don't know. You're honestly trying to tell me that you've never met me before, ever. No. Okay? No. Okay, let's do that. No. Okay? No. 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 Okay? No. The no is the line, buddy. I'm not saying no to you. I was saying no that you don't unplug it, but I'm saying no a bunch of times because that's what the people in the scene we're writing are saying. We hurt Ezra's feelings. We hurt the very shy. We hurt the shy child's feelings when we just said no too many times. No, okay? No. There's a line missing here. It doesn't make sense. No, okay? No. What if Ezra's like, why not? Why not? Do you plan to? And then Liam's like, "Mom told me I can meet you when I turn 16." So that's fine. That's fun because it sets it up like it sets the joke up properly. So like Ezra does need to interpret this like, "Oh, you're waiting to turn 16." That's Ezra's thought. So let's back it up. So like, come on, kid, give me something. Where was I? Where am I? I don't know. You're not honestly trying to tell me that we've never met before. Ever? No. Okay? No. Why not? Do you plan to? Mom told me I could meet you when I turned 16. How old are you? 17. Like, just turned 17? Almost 18. And then he just pushes it through. Almost 18. Give that a beat. Let that joke sort of linger. And then maybe Liam lightens the mood a little bit. He brings it back around so that it's not so heavy. Like, can you please? I've met you now. Okay? I've met you now. Okay? Can you please show me where this secret thing in my treehouse you claim to know about? Can you please show me where I can find, where to find? Can you please show me where to find this secret thing in my treehouse you claim I don't know about? That prompts Ezra to a place of maybe it would make sense for him to be a little bit sarcastic. So he's finally like, he stroked his ego enough, pops the thing on the tree, a click is heard, a small hatch opens. It's okay. You can be impressed. Liam ignores him because, yeah, that makes sense. He's agitated. He bends down to look in. Ezra's sort of still in that space of like, I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually do know things. So So, and then he describes it. So, what you're looking at, what you're currently looking at is let's just go like every memory. So what you're currently looking at is every memory, Mags and I, every like he needs to build it up. Every important memory, Mags and I ever, it's empty. Huh? Interrupting. You guys leaving me? Chat, they're leaving me. Of course I want you to stay, but I understand. If they want to go play, that's okay. I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually do know things. So what you're um I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually do know things. So we need to establish earlier that this is a time capsule. Okay, so let's go up here. Sorry, forgot I had to scroll for you guys. I've met you now, okay? So can you please? Can you please show me where to find this secret time capsule? Let's go that in my treehouse. That where to find the secret time capsule in my treehouse that you claim I don't know. That's a weird line. So can you please show me where to find this secret time capsule you claim? How do I phrase that, guys? I feel like the mind-numbing line could be different. It just hits weird. Where's that? Maybe it's just no. I think all of these lines could be different. I've met you now, okay? So can you please show me where to find this secret time capsule you claim is in my treehouse? To be hidden in my tree house. Ezra looks at him disapprovingly and pounds his fist on the central tree. A click is heard. He looks at him disapprovingly before pounding his fist on the central tree, and a click is heard. A small hatch opens. It's okay. You can be impressed. I know it's probably mind numbing to you. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it for just a sec. I got bigger fish to fry right now. I know it's probably mind numbing to you, but I actually do know things. Mind blowing. I know it's probably a shocker to you. We'll see.
I did it.
I feel like maybe I know it's hard to believe instead of it's mind numbing. Hi, baby. How you doing? You gonna help me write? It's okay. Give me a breast. I know this might come as quite a shock. I know this might come as quite a shock to you. I know this might come as quite a shock to you, but I actually do know things. So, what you're currently looking at is every important memory Mags and I ever. It's empty. Huh? Is there a slang term that could work there? I don't know the slang. I don't know the things the kids say. You're saying like an Ezra slang, like something from like '05, like something that would still be hot for him. Millennials, what's some slang from when you were in high school? Better for show. But what's some slang? What do you mean? You're saying it's what we used to say. What's what you used to say? I think we don't even need this like, do you need Spanish line? Like, it's empty. Huh? And he just shoots his head down because he doesn't believe it. Smarticle. Something we used. Yeah, but what's something you used to say, Miranda? What do you mean? You say it's something we used to say. What is something you used to say? He just said what you just said. Okay, back at the top of the page. I've met you now, okay? So can you please show me where to find this secret time capsule you claim to be hidden in my treehouse? Probably needs to emphasize that, like hidden in my treehouse. Ezra looks at him disapprovingly before pounding his fist on the central tree. Click is heard. A small hatch opens in the tree, we think? I don't know. Do we think the tree opens up or like there's a button somewhere on the tree that like makes something else pop out? I don't want to emulate I don't want it to seem too much like the time machine. I think that'll start feeling weird. I don't want you to like start assuming like Ezra built the time machine because that's not true. A small hatch opens in the tree. We'll just stay with that. It's okay. You can be impressed. Liam ignores Ezra and bends down to look in. I know this might come as quite a shock to you, but I actually do know things. I know this might come as quite a shock to you, but I actually do know things. So what you're currently I actually do know things. So what you currently have in front of you, yeah, let's do that. I wanted to almost like he's a tourist, like he's a tour guide. So what you currently have in front of you. So what you have, or actually more like a chef. Like a chef would be like, so what you have in front of you. In front of you is every important memory Mags and I ever. It's empty. Huh? Ezra bends down, puts his head in. Nothing's in there but a mini DVD and a yellow disc case. What? We've been broken up like 15 minutes. Liam rolls his eyes, reaches past Ezra, somewhat pushing him out of the way, and takes the DVD out gingerly. On it, in permanent marker, we read, "For Liam." That's Mag's handwriting. Okay. I think that's where we're going to end tonight. Oh, yeah, we're already over time, but we started late too. So this is where we got, not bad, guys. It's like almost 2 pages. It's a solid effort. So if you're actually interested in reading, we started at page 19 and we wrote to the bottom of 20-ish. And the next move, which we're not going to do right now, but for future reference, the next Right Club. Well, I know I'm sure I'm going to write in between the next Right Club, so I don't know where we'll start on the next Right Club. But where I'm going next is because Liam wants to see what's on that DVD because he recognizes his mom's handwriting on it. He goes, the anticipation is peeing my pants. Sorry, I'm interacting with the chat at the same time, and I'm sure it's very confusing to people watching this after the fact. He basically takes the DVD because he recognizes it's his mom's handwriting. So then he's like, I want to see what's on it, and I want to see it now. Which then prompts Ezra to go like, oh, I can be the hero. I have a solution. Let's go to the bunker. My dad is like a bunker. It's not far from here at all. They go to the bunker, and then he screws up, and they get locked in. And they end up locked in there for hours. So probably 5 to 10 pages is going to be, that final sort of like most of the third act. Like the beginning of the third act of this episode is them getting locked in, which is coming very, very soon, meaning like it's very, very close to this. It's going to be next. And then that whole third act is like them learning a little bit about each other, how to work through their issues a little bit together, starting to maybe like each other a little bit more, and ultimately finding some utility in one another, coming to love each other a little bit. That's what we're doing. I'm coming to love you guys a little bit. See that segue? That was fire. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for making a movie with us. Thanks for being here. Even if you're like, hey, I don't like writing and I don't know how to write. That's okay. Me neither. I feel that my dogs, but I appreciate you being here and I appreciate you being invested. I'm excited for this process and I'm excited to see where we can go next because God willing, we're going to be shooting this movie by April at the latest. That's the goal, which means God willing, we're finishing these scripts by the end of this year, which means by the end of this year, early next year, the goal is that you'll start seeing some different types of content. So you'll start seeing us previs, you start seeing us work through some music stuff, you'll start seeing us start seeing some not writing. Let's just say it that way. Okay. Love you guys. I am going to enjoy some family time and some Thursday night football. Love you guys. Deuces.